And we are back.
All right, there you go, man. There's the coffee. I got you.
Appreciate it. Well, as I open the coffee like this, well, you can't hear it, right? I wonder if they hear it, but you can't, because Discord's noise suppression can't hear me popping cans. But I just opened a Monster, so we're ready to rock and roll.
No longer a coffee. It's true. Actually, no. Monster does have coffee.
Well, no, it's okay. I have a coffee that's hot, and I have a Monster that's cold, and I'm just double chugging them.
Have you ever had those like Monster coffees?
The Java Monsters, I've had them once, yeah.
Oh, I do know. My favorite one's the Mean Bean, dude. That one's really tasty because it has like has kind of like a real nutty flavor to it.
And real quick, let's talk about our sponsor, Monster. No, I'm just kidding.
I would love for them to send me one of those like Monster fridges to just keep in the background. That'd be fucking awesome, dude.
That and like every time a new flavor comes out, they send like a case out and we try it. I'd do that.
Yeah, I would. I'm down for like I said in the last video. I'm down for any sponsor that sends us like tangible things that I don't have to buy anymore.
Well, that and just stuff that I already use. I already buy and drink Monsters, so.
Yeah, dude, you hit me with the HelloFresh, hit me with the Monsters, any of the shit like that. 100%, I'm gonna take.
I love that we opened that up in the second part of the Consumerist Dystopia of Harry Potter.
Dude, hey, welcome to the Consumerist Dystopia of your government.
Welcome to the Consumerist Dystopia of CRS. Man, last we left off on the exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, thank you. We got into how Harry Potter's world and his introduction to the world has been, just all about buying shit, which we established that it hasn't. His first introduction was more to the wonder, and especially if you read the books, it's more about the wonder and mystery of magic. And then, he finds out he's rich, but a lot of that is less about, it's great that he's rich because consumerists and buying stuff. It's more about a little boy's wish fulfillment. Poor, playing with hand-me-down toys that maybe you're lucky to get, or maybe you probably stole from your, cousin Dudley, because who knows if they ever actually gave you gifts. Because he does say in the first book he's never had a Christmas present. So in the first movie, it opens up with him playing with army men. That's probably not accurate. Harry probably didn't have that. Harry probably had nothing in his room. Like, absolutely nothing. In fact, anything he probably played with, I think there is something where he's playing with like buttons and mismatched little pieces of lint or trash that because he's in a broom closet, so people put their coats and shit in there, and he might like a goblin fucking scavenges through them to look for bits and pieces, not to steal or to sell, to play with, just something to play with to keep his fucking mind from going crazy. So yeah, it's a little bit of his wish fulfillment that not only are you your parents didn't die in an accident. They're these wonderful, powerful wizards that are respected and known. Not only are you not a nobody who's being abused by your caretakers, you're actually famous. A famous hero that everyone loves and respects. Not only are you not poor, you're rich. You're well off than most people you know. It's wish fulfillment. The whole first book is about the lows of Harry Potter's life at the beginning, and then he gets exploded and thrown into a world where he's the chosen one, the most special kid, and that's actually kind of by design. Albus Dumbledore sent him away to a family knowing they would kind of treat him like shit for this reason. He didn't want him to grow up like Malfoy, let's say, who's a perfect foil for Harry in the beginning books, where Malfoy, like Harry, is technically born into... Harry was born into privilege, it was just taken from him, Malfoy was born into privilege, but he never lost it because his parents were on the evil side. Malfoy's been rewarded in terms of his upbringing for his parents' misdeeds because he gets punished later on in life as he develops because of his poor parenting, while Harry continually gets rewarded. So it's kind of the nature versus nurture argument. I think that is a bigger theme in Harry Potter than anything, is nature versus nurture, that you do have inherent parts of you that might be bad or negative or malevolent, but it's your environment that shapes you and it's your decisions. In the books, Harry's very concerned when he finds out that he shares so many similarities with Voldemort, and that's because Harry himself is a Horcrux. And
yeah, I was just about to bring up the parallels between Harry and Voldemort. I think that's the best example of of like both sides of the environmental nurture aspect of that.
Well, that I mean, it's literally a line. I can't remember word for word, and people are going to clown on me because this is a famous quote. But Arthur Weasley and I think Dumbledore say, and Sirius also say very similar things, where it's basically, it's not who we are, but what we do. That's what defines us. And a good example of Harry uses all the gifts that Voldemort has to save the world instead of doom it. Harry uses Parcel Tongue to communicate with snakes to save the world or save the school and Chamber of Secrets, save Ginny, but also because he talks in his sleep because of his mental link and he keeps having dreams with Voldemort. Ron is, and this is the I don't like this as a plot point, but this is we do have to take it at face value now because of his link with Voldemort and the dreams he was having. He talked in his sleep in Parcel Tongue to the point where Ron could replicate the sounds to open the Chamber of Secrets in the last book to get some basilisk fangs because they can kill Horcruxes. Um,
Listen, all I'm going to say right now is anyone in the comments, if you quote that and if you bring that up to us right now, we will respond to you with the glasses emoji. I want you to know this.
well, I mean, these are all different. I mean, you can say whatever you want about how. Okay, let me just. This is a sneak peek into 30 years from now when the Part 7 review comes out. But because Part 1 review is not even close. But the idea that you can hear your friend talking in her sleep in weird snake sounds and that you can replicate that and know what those words mean, because remember, it's not you don't just make random sounds and the Chamber of Secrets opens up for you. You have to tell it to open in Chamber of Secrets. I mean, you have to tell it to open in Parcel Tongue. So the idea that Ron hears Harry speak in Parcel Tongue in his dreams and figures out which of his little snake sounds means open, and that's it's dumb.
Ron, no, what he did was just Ron brute forced the door.
He just kept making different sounds until finally
He just kept making different sounds until the door moved. It was pure happenstance.
I mean, there's ways you fix this. All you have to do is make it to where there's a translate spell. And because they have Harry who knows Parcel Tongue, at some point Hermione casts that spell so that both of them can speak Parcel Tongue whenever they need to. And then and I know that maybe you don't do it as on the nose. You could do just something as simple as Hermione has access to a spell that can replicate, a different language given, a target is, whatever. Magic, basically, is what I'm saying. I don't like the idea that Harry talks in his sleep and so Ron can open the Chamber of Secrets. But that is what happened. And then you have different aspects of Harry. He's kind of like his dad, but you could also say this is like Voldemort, where they're mischievous, they're rule breakers, they're willing to go outside of the bounds. They're natural leaders. This is all to say that Harry and Voldemort are parallels, or two sides of the same coin. Very similar in their gifts and abilities, but what they want to do with them is different. Voldemort tries to subvert Dumbledore and get the Elder Wand through not really Voldemort didn't confront Dumbledore to try to take the Elder Wand. They did have that confrontation and Voldemort lost, but it was never like, my big plan is to sneak up on him and get him. He sent Malfoy after him. Malfoy disarmed him, and that led to his downfall because Voldemort assumed that Snape got the Elder Wand because he killed Dumbledore, not understanding that Malfoy had already defeated him. But anyway, when Voldemort gets the Elder Wand, he's decided, I'm going to use this to take over the world and kill everyone. Harry gets the Elder Wand, decides to use it to repair his own broken wand that he likes, and then he breaks the Elder Wand and throws it away. I can't remember if in the books, I know there's a difference in how the Elder Wand is treated in the books and the movies. I know in the movie he doesn't use the Elder Wand to repair his wand, and then he just breaks the Elder Wand. I can't remember if in the book, I know in the book he repairs his own wand because he says I like mine better. But I don't remember if he broke the Elder Wand in the book or if he reburied it with Dumbledore. It might be that he broke it still. But anyway, Harry relinquishes the power even though he's the rightful owner of the Elder Wand, and Voldemort would never do that. Just it's stating the obvious, but yeah, a bigger and I think the more apparent theme that is constantly reinforced through Harry Potter is the nature versus nurture, not anything to do with consumerism. I mean, really tell me what consumerism exists, like really any shopping that exists in the store beyond
Diagon Alley.
In Goblet of Fire. Like, tell me what shopping exists in Goblet of Fire. You have like different schools mingling, and like more. The fourth book is more like criticism about media, really, with Rita Skeeter, and you could say that's consumerist because she's like selling inflammatory media in order to get readers, and that's all in pursuit of more popularity, more money, more fame.
I mean, yeah, but then we're getting into the topic where it's like, where do you draw the line between consumerist? I mean, you can say something is consumerist just by virtue of buying and selling.
Well, yeah, I mean that's their whole argument or whatever. Their whole argument with Diagon Alley, that because his first introduction to the wizarding world is through Diagon Alley and how awesome it is to shop, even though that's not his first introduction to the wizarding world. Like this is all just reinforcing how. I mean, we'll press play and we'll see them talk about it. But yeah, it's clear that there isn't a line drawn because they're inventing this consumerist thing in Harry Potter, where obviously those themes aren't present. Like I said, there's a lot more you can talk about with nature versus nurture, or like even maybe the concept of telling the future, because there's the whole fortune aspect and how that can be misread or read, or we're the masters of our own destiny. There's a lot more presence in that than anything else. Like again,
but those are boring. This one gets the clicks, dude.
I'm wondering what consumerism exists. Well, okay, we'll grant the little bit of minimalist line you could draw with Rita Skeeter. Tell me an Order of Phoenix. The Order of Phoenix is all about governmental overreach and tyrannical takeover of the public school system. Like they send in a governmental body that is now like not really allowing students to practice magic. Like their Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, they don't ever get to cast magic. They're just always doing work out of the books, and it's kind of meant to be a criticism of government not understanding how to actually educate. They only understand how to litigate and control, and the more rules and more rules and more rules, and it becomes like a statement on power and tyranny and people not being worthy, being given too much power. There's not really any consumerism in Order of Phoenix.
Harry consumes Cho Chang.
They do kiss, that is true.
He consumes her.
Just like he's an eldritch being, just sucks her in. He's like, I have your magic now.
And use your powerful shiny.
Meat Cannon, we're gonna need a video on that stat. Harry the consumer.
Yeah, Harry as a Dementor absorbs Cho Chang, and then you make a like comically racist Shinlong dragon and have it voiced by Tom Flashshit.
Yeah. Let's press play. We're 15 minutes in.
I need that made right.
We get multiple close-ups of the Nimbus 2000 logo. We get all the shopping. We get the candy. All the great stuff which has been produced by Warner Brothers Consumer Products. Ron's embarrassment about his family's poverty.
I will say, guys, we will be rewatching a bit of this because it's been a while since the last time we were here. So we need to refamiliarize ourselves.
Yeah, but we won't need to recomment a whole lot. Obviously, the arguments for why there's multiple close-ups of the Nimbus 2000, it's because Harry gets the fucking Nimbus 2000 later on in the story. It's what we call visual foreshadowing, buddy.
So we're gonna have minimal commentary until we get to the point where we get to where we haven't seen the current stuff.
Yeah,
so FYI.
Yeah, but all right.
Is skipped over in the film, so we have plenty of time to talk about chocolate and jelly beans. You're not only watching the story.
we didn't
Chocolate
comment.
frogs were fucking cool though.
Well, yeah, we didn't comment on this last time, but in the books and in the movies, there's more being done in that scene than just if you want to argue promoting products, which is it's not what's going on here. First of all, this is a lot of world building. Harry's a muggle, basically. He has no concept of the different treats and candies that exist, and this is something that would draw kids in. Oh, this whole world, they have their different magical candy. Of course they do. Also, this is used as a very neat bit of exposition, because when the chocolate frogs scene is happening, do you remember what's in the chocolate frogs besides a chocolate frog?
There's the cool moving picture of.
Oh, there's that card.
Oh god. Oh man, you saved me. I almost said Gandalf.
No, you're all good. It's the card that has Albus Dumbledore, but what does Harry get? Because Harry doesn't get Albus Dumbledore in his. He gets a rare one. He gets Nicholas Flamel. See, this scene is actually used as a genius bit of world building and foreshadowing for the story, laying down some bits we need. Because this gets called back to later in the story, because Harry goes, Nicholas Flamel, where have I heard that name? And then it hits him with chocolate frogs. Nicholas Flamel is the inventor of the Sorcerer's Stone. You know, the name of the book. So this is
it's actually really disingenuous to try to say that this is
this is just advertising. This is used not only as world building and characterization, because Ron, being poor, is very excited about the treats that he's getting to have for the first time, but he knows about them because he's poor, and he's probably, as you know, you're a poor kid that's never able to get Hershey's. You know what a fucking Hershey's and a Crunch Bar and a Twix is, like, you know. You just have never been able to get it. So you have a friend that just splurges. You're like, oh yeah, let me tell you about all this, since you don't know. But it's also used not only as characterization and world building, but a genius bit of narrative foreshadowing with the characters of Albus Dumbledore, who's going to be very important coming up soon because he's a headmaster, and we're going to meet him, and Nicholas Flamel, who's like the inventor of the plot device of this book.
That is an amazing point to bring up. I'm surprised we didn't catch that last time. That's a really big point.
Don't worry, I got
this
this.
is why we're spacing out.
Alright.
Of Harry Potter's adventures in the Wizarding World, you're watching Harry Byproducts, which are now available at your local store. Harry Potter, perfect series of film adaptation, because it could be interpreted as so pro-consumerism.
I guess you can interpret it like that, huh?
Attempts such as the Hunger
Yeah, and we spoke about the Hunger Games. I'm really glad we went back through this little bit so we could catch that.
Games at the Capitol,
Yeah.
which they did.
Oh, dude, they had a bourgeois, the coolest dogs.
And celebrate a contest called the Hunger Games with a range of juicy, overstuffed sandwiches.
Bold can be standing up for what you believe in. And now, bold can be found at Subway. Fiery footlongs, a revolution in bold taste.
Yeah, no, the Hunger Games doesn't really work so well for merch, and the attempts were rightfully torn to shreds. Not Harry Potter, though.
I don't understand why it doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I mean, I guess I understand why people might get mad, because the whole narrative in the Hunger Games is all about anti-consumerism and calling down the capital of Panem for kind of being greedy and evil. But I don't know, if you're the type of person that gets mad at a commercial for a movie, you need bigger problems.
Yeah, who cares?
Like, yeah, this is called advertising. This is called marketing. Someone is maybe wanting, like, oh, you know, I'm watching a commercial from a different, you know, TV show. Oh, hey, a commercial on Subway for the Hunger Games. I didn't know that movie was coming out. Cool. It's what it's designed to do. It's
Like,
designed to get people to know the movie's coming out so they can buy tickets, man.
Well, like, I mean, the idea of using an advert that's going to be on TV that literally will have nothing to do with the product of the movie whenever you go see it is so far removed from even being a relevant point of topic here. Like, if you at least would have made the point of, like, hey, here's this movie where it has a direct product placement that it didn't need to be in here, you would at least have a little bit of shaky ground to stand on, but this is completely irrelevant. Doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, there's a reason that people generally shrug at product placement, but some people call it sins, like cinema sins. Yeah, generally, non-subtle or, you know, very awkwardly handled product placement can be awkward and detract from the story. But you're going to have a real issue convincing me that Harry Potter counts as product placement when it's its own world. It's it's so disingenuous to say, well, it's product placement because the company made merch for the movie and for the books, but it's like, yeah, but that's not product placement when it's non-existent product until the world existed. It's not. It's not the same as Harry and Ron buying a Coke from the fucking trolley. They're buying Bertie Bott's everlasting bean or different bean flavor and chocolate frogs and shit. Like in universe, their own thing. Like it's so disingenuous to compare it to like a Subway commercial for Hunger Games. Like, and
I mean,
I don't
the
even see a
thing-
problem with the Subway commercial.
I mean, the other thing I was thinking about is like these like big chocolate confectionery boxes she's making comparison to. Like, it's hard to draw a through line on saying that the first Harry Potter is this consumerist thing, whenever I can almost guarantee a lot of these products she's pointing towards were made post the 5th movie.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the Nimbus 2000 was made by the first movie. So, hey, when I read the first book, I was like, it'd be really fucking cool to have a Nimbus 2000. Be really fucking cool to have my own wand. No one had to advertise that to me. When I watched Dragon Ball Z and I saw Goku fight man, fight monkey, or fight alien, I didn't need to know what alien do. I was like, I want Goku and alien so I can make them fight. It was not hard for me. No one had to make a commercial. They did.
I just feel like the further we get into this, the more it's just going to turn into the concept of exchanging goods or money for goods and services bad.
It would be better if when you read the book and you asked, could I get thing from book, someone shot you and your entire family. You do not want thing.
Whenever I was watching the movie, the first thing I thought of is, can I get a chocolate frog? And then my father came in. He said, "Oh, you listen there, you ain't getting no chocolate frog."
That's why I didn't buy any of this merch behind me. I actually looted it from my local Tesco.
Oh, you over there? You taking stuff with you, the chocolate frog?
No, I actually really like the joke that to be anti-consumerist, they didn't buy any of the merch behind them. They stole it and looted
Listen, no. Tell us right now. Please comment on a video and say. Tell us whether or not you stole all that merch. If you stole all that merch, we will retract this point.
Well, I mean, I think they're obviously making the point of look at all the merch behind me, but also, you did buy that.
You
right?
did buy that came out of your credit card.
And, you know, that went to a certain somebody who doesn't like you, you know, per se. Well, I'm sure they like you. They don't, I'm sure J.K. Rowling doesn't wish harm on the trans community, but she doesn't agree with you. And no, you know, you just gave her like a...
Oh, I was gonna say she probably didn't like her because she's doing an absolutely
dog shit. Yeah. She probably wouldn't like her.
Universe.
Yeah, probably wouldn't like your media analysis. But I don't think J.K. Rowling would dislike you as a person. Contrary to what everyone believes, that J.K. Rowling would like. If she sees a trans person, she'll just like she immediately eats them and consumes their blood for power.
She pulls out her gun. She pulls out her American Smith and Wesson.
And she completely drops her fake British accent that she's been using, and she goes, "Now listen here, not around me, not in these parts."
No, it's not. No, it's not a Texan accent. She pulls out her gun and she goes, "Oh, you see it, mate? Your Tom is fucking done. You're about to get crimped." She look, yeah.
That's a dark.
Gotta cut that.
No, go on. That's really funny.
J.K. Rowling grows teeth like an orc, and she looks at you with a gun and says, "It's crumpin' time."
That's cool. Alright, let's continue.
So, I'm sure Rowling just wrote in all that fun consumerism because it sounded neat, but its inclusion made Harry uniquely suited to a major family franchise. And it is weird how much shopping is part of the book. Like, isn't it odd that you have to buy your wand? I mean, like...
No.
How is that weird?
No, it's not weird. Someone had to make it and prepare it.
You're British. You have to buy... Okay, no. You have to buy a school uniform. Why are you surprised he has to buy school supplies?
Also, isn't it weird?
What the fuck is your take here?
Also, it's so weird to say it's weird that there's a lot of shopping in the first movie where Harry is new to everything and would have to do school shopping for his wizard school. Now go to the second book, and Diagon Alley is still in the second book, but the scene is nearly half as long. And there's more things going on in Diagon Alley, because now we don't have to introduce every shop and every store and go from place to place. Now, Harry accidentally uses flu powder to go to the wrong area, Borgin and Burke's, and he overhears a conversation between Draco and his son. Lucius and his son. Then he sneaks out. He almost gets hurt by some like random thugs, and Hagrid picks him up, takes him to Diagon Alley. Then they go to the bookshop where they're going to meet their new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Gilderoy Lockhart. While they're in that bookshop, they run into Lucius Malfoy, who during this time drops Tom Riddle's diary in Ginny's cauldron, and while he's talking shit, and and Arthur and him almost get into a fight. All that happens, and that whole scene has nearly nothing to do with shopping, but it's still. They are going to the bookshop to buy their New Year's books, and also to meet their teacher. It's that whole scene is used for narrative, but. And then in the next book, there's I don't even know if there's a Diagon Alley scene, but if so, it's very, very short. And in the fourth book, there's not even a Diagon Alley scene, I'm pretty sure. And because we understand as the years go by, yeah, he does his school shopping. Makes sense.
Yeah, like I don't, and especially because as the stuff goes on, I feel like it just gets less and less. So I mean,
well, yeah I mean that and
we're setting up the world.
Yeah, and like bigger things are going on. Like once Voldemort is back, we're not gonna do a big focus on Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade. The fun is over, as you might say. That's why I would actually say what J.K. Rowling does really well is kind of signifying the coming of age story, not in always a pleasant way. Harry gets the nice and whimsical introduction to the world where he has all this fun, but kind of still has this evil, but he overcomes it every year, and his friends grow closer, and he, gets more popularity, and people like look up to him and respect him more. And then in the fourth book, he watches someone die in front of him and knows for a fact that Voldemort's back, has to fight him off, barely gets away. Everything else it's all changed. This evil guy that we know who's been set up for 4 books is now back. The 5th, 6th, and 7th book have completely shifted in tone. In fact, by the point in the 7th book, Hogwarts doesn't you don't go back to Hogwarts till the end of the 2nd part, where it's a whole battle for Hogwarts. Like most of the 7th book, you're not at Hogwarts until the very, very end. So everything starts falling away as Harry grows up and becomes the man he needs to be to stop evil. This whole argument, it's so weird to say that in the first book there's a lot of shopping. In the first book we get introduced to nearly every major location except Hogsmeade, and we get that in the second book. In the first and second book you get introduced to every location, and you've heard references to locations you haven't been introduced to. So you've heard of the Ministry of Magic, so when we go there in the 5th book, it's not that big a deal. Or it's not like it's out of nowhere. We've heard of Godric's Hollow, because that's where Harry was born. And so when we go there in the 7th book, it's like, oh, we've gone to this place we've heard about a couple times. Really, we do the most location hopping, I'd say, in the 6th and 7th book, because we're out in the wilderness trekking. But in terms of major settings, that all basically gets introduced in the 1st, 2nd book. I don't know, just very weird. It's like saying that the 4th... I don't know. I don't think I need many more examples. It's just strange and disingenuous, and... You're mistaking world building and introducing different areas that it would make sense people have to buy things as consumerism. Very weird. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, one example I was thinking is...
Oh, they're about to bring up Star Wars. Oh, you fucking idiot.
Shit. I mean, me and you were watching a YouTube short from a new Adam Sandler movie, The Spaceman or whatever. Mm-hmm. Where whenever the spider thing shows up and he literally has to say a corporate slogan to do a thing.
Yeah, that's obviously some commentary on consumerism.
Like that's a way better example of like a more like satirical consumerist showing, then character has to buy things for a logical narrative reason.
All right. So they brought up Star Wars. First of all, this is disingenuous because Luke is not foreign to this world or how the market works. But there is a market in nearly the second or third scene. Because, at the very beginning, and you know nothing about Star Wars, so here we go.
Yeah, I have not watched this scene yet.
At the very beginning of New Hope, it starts with a little spaceship being chased by a big spaceship. Then you zoom into
A New Hope is this movie, right?
Yes. And then you see Leia. She's running around as the soldiers are getting ready to hold off an area, and she transmits a message to a droid. Those two droids make it off the ship and make it down to Tatooine, which is the planet that Luke is on right now. Luke has been on this planet for 17 years, so he knows how things work. The inciting incident is that Luke and his uncle Owen go to the droid market that shows up once a month or once a week or whatever, and they buy these two droids. It's literally the inciting incident for Luke's introduction to the story is buying something. There's a better argument for consumerism. Like, buying something can be your call to adventure. You never know what you could buy that could take you off to save the princess. But it's also not a fair comparison because if Luke just showed up to this world and maybe needed to buy supplies to live, it wouldn't be out of place for someone to take him to the local market. We wouldn't call that pro-consumerist propaganda because look at all the products they're advertising when, the introduction to the story is Luke crash landing on a planet and needing supplies because that just makes sense. He needs food, he needs water, maybe his clothes are torn, maybe his lightsaber needs to be repaired. We wouldn't call that pro-consumerism. It's just cause and effect. So you're already using a disingenuous example, but I guarantee you're not going to even bring up the droid market being the inciting incident of the story, are you?
Like buying their lightsabers. Imagine Gandalf shopping for.
Yeah. Look, imagine buying their lightsabers. You might have to. Depends on your situation. In some of the books, you have to, or maybe not buying your lightsaber, but buying a kyber crystal. There's one of the EU books where the main character uses like a blaster for a long time because he's kind of like a mercenary, and he does a like a really hard, impossible mercenary job in order to get a kyber crystal, and then it's been revealed that he's been trying to build his own lightsaber. So that's why he wanted the kyber crystal, because if you don't want to use it for a lightsaber, a kyber crystal is like super valuable. Like
because other people want to use it for a lightsaber.
Well, that, or you could use it. So one of the reasons the Empire is seizing and controlling a bunch of the kyber crystals is one, they are used as a Jedi's weapon, but they're also used to for laser weapons. So the Death Star has kyber crystals in it. So it's just it's a powerful fuel source. And yeah, saying Gandalf buying their staff. Show me nearly any shopping at all in Lord of the Rings, because it's a completely different world. There's a tavern, there's an inn where they might have to use coin to buy a room. But come on, dude.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I just think it's a really funny idea. It's shows the hobbits with their communal society. One scene of them going to a fuck off tavern near the human land or the inn. They have to spend a couple gold coins for a thing. The Consumerist Society in Middle Earth?
Oh, God.
Objects are part of the culture, like in Earthsea, you have to earn your staff as a rite of passage. It's culturally significant to us as wizards, to the Jedi in Star Wars. But we could be involved.
You don't earn your lightsaber ordinarily. So Luke just was given his lightsaber because it was his father's. That he got the Youngling Slayer 9000. But usually, yeah.
Pending.
Oh no, it's patented. Yeah. Usually you do have to earn your lightsaber in terms of going and doing a mission where your whole induction to the Jedi Academy is that you've been kidnapped from your family, or not kidnapped, but maybe willingly given to from your family at a very young age, so you don't form attachments. You're not allowed to form attachments or have kids. And then, at some point, once you become a Padawan, you get your lightsaber. What's different about that? Jedi probably get their own kind of funding, or their own kind of donations in order to fund their creation of lightsabers and shit. Someone had to make these wands. Yeah, it's a what I guess fuck Ollivander, right? The wand maker. He just has to make it and not get any money. Or I mean, and if you want to argue it should be, funded by the Ministry of Magic, sure. But as we find out, the Ministry of Magic isn't funding Hogwarts either. The school's expecting you to bring your own supplies, but everything else they take care of, probably through magical means. Or slavery, in terms of the house elves. But they like it. They like the slavery, so it's cool.
Yeah, but they're cool with it.
Yeah.
Like it's tied to consumerism, presumably in an attempt to modernize it, that they buy their magic wands. And now so can you. You can go to Ollivander's at Universal Studios and buy your very own special wand. The vast majority of the Wizarding World's being...
Okay, that's super disingenuous because the Ollivander's shop didn't come out for like... Hold on a second. Let me do a live Google. Yeah, so... Ollivander's came out in 2014. We'll put that screenshot up here. And then Sorcerer's Stone, as we know, came out in 1998. So you're right, that marketing is very excellent. They're only 16 years behind. But, yeah, because I remember being a kid and reading the books and going, I wish I could buy my own wand. And they didn't have that ability to do that.
Oh, man, dude, those bloody consumerists, dude. Always speeding to get the money out of the hapless victims.
Yeah, you would think if this is really all about consumerism and selling products that they would have Ollivander set up at least by the movie, because that would be when the height of people wanting to buy their own wands and go to Ollivander's would be. Because Ollivander doesn't become referenced until the 7th book.
No,
after
dude,
that.
No. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lay the seeds. We're gonna expect for this to become a hyper hit phenomena.
Right, because that's happened before over 7 books.
And then we're gonna create these culturally followed movies to be a linchpin in like pop culture. And then over 10 years after the fact, we're gonna make the story to capitalize on it.
Oh, you mean over 15 years?
Oh, over 15 years.
Yeah.
And then through the cost at the shop, we're not even probably gonna recoup even 0.1% of what the movie earned.
Well, no, I mean maybe Ollivander's made a profit. I think that would be less than relevant. They waited 16 years to try to make a return on their profit. I don't think you could argue the motive is to sell merch at that point.
I mean, maybe you could argue that it's an additional for an attraction on
No. You know what it is? It's actually genius. Because when you're reading the book, you're like 10, maybe 11. At youngest like 8. So if
you wait till they have a kid.
If we wait 16 years, then they're old enough to have a job and have enough stable income to where they can afford a $300 wand.
Oh, true.
It's
yeah,
actually
900
IQ.
Their parents wouldn't buy it till they work as baristas. They'll be able to use all their tip money.
That's right, dude. Dude, they're actually 900 IQ. We should do that. We should make a product, and when it gets really popular and people are asking for merch, we go, "We'll see you in 16 years, pal."
Well, that's what's going to happen with the CRS shirt pins.
There's 16-year waiting list by default.
They will come out in 2040. And that's a guarantee. That's a promise from the Loach. They're gonna be gold plated.
Oh, Trevor, don't say that.
They're gonna be lead, but they're gonna be plated with gold.
A little bit of uranium in there.
And they're gonna have a uranium nugget in the center.
And then
we'll give them to all of our subscribers on Ko-Fi or whatever the fuck platform we're using.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, no, and all the mail workers that deliver it will probably CRS and FBI do a crossover.
We're in a padded, we're in a jail cell. CRS surprise inspection. The FBI.
They arrested us for our gifts to our community. Kind of cringe. Alright, let's get through this.
You start at Diagon Alley and shop there, and when you're done, you buy a train ticket and go to Hogsmeade and shop some more. The official
Okay. Why do you think they go from Diagon Alley to the train, Trevor? Or the Loach? In terms of a ride or an attraction you're designing for like Disney World, Harry Potter, why would you have them go to Diagon Alley and buy all their school supplies, right? And then get on the train?
So they can go to Hog.
Well, right, but hey, because I'm an idiot and I actually haven't read the books in a minute, and I just like talking out of my ass. In what order does Harry go to these different locations? So the different locations are Diagon Alley, Hogwarts, and Hogsmeade. What order does Harry go to these locations in the first book?
Diagon Alley.
Oh,
Train.
and
Hogwarts, and then Hogsmeade.
Yeah, and maybe you could argue that in the first book, the train actually dropped them off in the village of Hogsmeade, but Harry didn't know it was called Hogsmeade. He might have described it as like a small little village because it was in the middle of the night.
Well, yeah, because he wouldn't know.
Yeah, and maybe that is what happened. But if you think it's weird, they went to Diagon Alley and then bought a train ticket and then went to Hogsmeade, aka the village right outside of Hogwarts. So you're on your way to Hogwarts. I don't know, man. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's because they're wanting to emulate the journey that Harry went on, because this is ultimate wish fulfillment. This is what you set up these kind of attractions for.
I guess their argument's going to be that... See, this is the part that kind of pissed me off about this whole argument, because, like, I feel like we're just going to boil back down to the whole, like, the fact that I'm spending money on things makes it a consumerist dystopia.
Well, I mean, like, this is a good example. I really, really want to play Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if the first thing I do in Hogwarts Legacy isn't going to Diagon Alley and picking, like, which animal companion I get, getting my own wand.
Suck, huh?
I would be disappointed. I want to do the things that Harry did. Yeah, if I buy Hogwarts Legacy and my first scene isn't getting my letter, and then a cutscene, and then I'm in Diagon's Alley, and I get to walk around at my own pace and go to the different shops and buy shit, and I have like a budget or whatever. Like, I start off with 1,000 gold, and maybe certain things I can't buy unless I do little side missions around Diagon Alley. I can go walk up to NPCs, kind of like the Fable opening, and do different things and get another 1,000 gold. And if I do that, I can get the basic wand, because you just get whatever wand based on maybe some questions you answer. You could do Pokemon Mystery Dungeon style, and then.
And if you do all the side quests, then you could get like your Nimbus 2000, and that will help you with like the
Quidditch. Or maybe you have to choose between whether you want to get your Nimbus 2000 or you want to get an owl, because maybe the owl is the most expensive, and so an owl costs like 800 gold, and so buying all the basic stuff costs 200. You have 800 left over. The Nimbus 2000 costs 1,000, so you might already be motivated to go do the quests to go see if you can get the Nimbus 2000. But if you want to get both, you're going to have to find a random 800 gold here and there. Like, there's different things you can do, obviously. But, yeah, I would want to do it in that order. I would want to go to Diagon Alley. Guess what I want to do next? I want to get on the fucking train. And I want to ride the train and maybe have random encounters to have different people get in my car, and, I can choose to recruit them into my party if I like them. And then the trolley shows up, and if I have gold left over, I can buy different things from the trolley cart to give to the new party members according to what flavors or what taste I, do full dating sim style, where I talk to a dude that hops in my car for 5 minutes. I know he likes chocolate, but he doesn't like, magical stuff because it kind of makes him squeamish. So I buy a normal chocolate bar from the trolley. His friendship goes up. Basic shit like that. I want to do that next. Then, yeah, I want to go to Hogwarts and do my first day, and then halfway through the year do the Hogsmeade trip. I'm sorry, I want to do what the book did. It's not consumerism. It's so weird. If there's a Dragon Ball game, I would want to do the little small scale adventures, running around, running from dinosaurs, running from steel balls, avoiding Emperor Pilaf encounters, trying to find the Dragon Balls. Then as it scales up, yeah, I'd want to do different stuff. I'd want to do the Saiyan Saga. Yes, this isn't. Why is this weird for you, man? I think I went on a bit of a rant there. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
You can clip that.
60-degree tour of Diagon Alley from which you can actually buy merch. And that is how you can emulate Harry's experience. That's how you can put yourself in his shoes and experience that world as a consumer. Do you identify as a Gryffindor?
Yeah, because I can't actually fucking fly and cast spells, so I can't emulate that part of his life, unless we're talking about a video game. But in the real world, what do you want me to do? Yeah, if I want to go on a fucking...
You're not supposed to buy merch. That's what the lesson here is.
No, they should give you the train rides for free. They should give you the wands for free.
If you buy the merch, you are a soy cup. But if you don't buy the merch, you are a Giga Chad.
That's why he stole the merch.
That's why this YouTuber stole the merch.
A Ravenclaw? Then get your own house-specific robes, scarf, and even a house-specific set of Harry Potter books, or collect all 28. Get some...
That's actually really cool. Hey, you're you're kind of advertising for him, high key, because hold on.
I mean,
Hold on. Yeah, because I have, and I'll find the setup and I'll put the screenshot up here. But I have this very basic Harry Potter set. I didn't know these existed. That's fucking rad, dude. I do kind of want to collect all 28 high key.
Here's the problem, like, you're staying the Consumerist Dystopia, but honestly, you're just being like a really good PR team for showing how good you can sell one isolated piece of merchandise.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, it's crazy that when a book is popular or a story is popular, you can goddamn merchify nearly everything in it. Hey, you know what's really crazy? You brought up Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. There are YouTubers right now that their entire company and income is making custom-made lightsabers because people like Star Wars and want their own custom-made lightsabers that bad. You can buy the One Ring. Hey, remember the most expensive magic card in all of history that was bought by a literal fucking rapper for $1 million was based off of Lord of the Rings called the One Ring, and they had an entire promotional campaign?
I mean, then you're also talking about like all the
staves, Aragorn's sword, Gimli's hammer, Legolas's bow.
all the elvish like metal designs.
You can literally buy a copy of Lord of the Rings that's written entirely in Elvish. Fucking like you can buy a gold inlaid cover, anniversary edition cover that has fucking fully illustrated pictures of different chapters and like poems. Dude, there's star-studded radio star cast of Lord of the Rings that you can buy on audiobook for $10 or something. Like, get the fuck out of here. Everything that's popular gets merchified. Welcome to the world. Like, this isn't... Look, you would have a better leg to stand on if you said the consumerist dystopia of storytelling. Because I would actually kind of agree with you there. That really in the modern age, it's not whether or not a story is well written or not. It's whether or not that story can make money. If that story can hook an audience in for multiple years or make a generational fan, and we can make money by selling products or selling translations or selling things in your universe. Take One Piece, for example. I like One Piece. I haven't watched nearly the same amount as Loach. Hey, there's a shit ton of One Piece. There's a card game. There's the different devil fruits you can buy. There's the different weapons you can buy. And One Piece is...
The Japanese government literally licenses One Piece merch for their traffic cones and rail crossings. For like safety stuff.
And it's not that One Piece isn't a bad story or is a bad story or anything like that, but also one of the great things and advantages of One Piece is that it can make a generational fan. It's so long, and this is kind of the same thing with Dragon Ball. It spans such an amount of time that there are people that have been fans since they were kids that are now having kids and are raising their kids on the same thing. If you wanted to make an argument, you could say the consumerist dystopia of storytelling, but then we would just have to zoom out more and go, it's probably more just the consumerist dystopia of craft. there's not really any craft you could do where the objective is to do the best you can as that being the only motivator. The motivator is generally going to be make the most amount of money you can. And that's kind of a byproduct of a merit-based money system, which is what capitalism is. If you want to get away from the buzzwords, all capitalism is a merit-based money system. You can interact and make trades with someone else. You can exchange goods and services for money or money for goods and services. And if you, over time, over a consistent trend of time, are making trades that are beneficial to you, you will accrue more money. But how well you can interact in the system based on your merit, you will accrue more money. In communism or other state-based things, it's up to the state to decide to your need. According to your need is according to what you'll be given. So, a good example of this is you might have a neighbor. You both live in the same apartment, but he has 2 kids and you have no kids. Your rent should, quote unquote, be more expensive so that the more money you pay, that money can go and be redistributed to your neighbor so that he can pay less rent but use that remaining money that he saved in his rent to feed his 2 kids. And this would be kind of the general argument, is that according to your greater need, you get either, if you want to do one way or the other, you can do greater cuts or greater boons. So depending on what system, or if you want to do both, you could do the idea of, well, that person has more need, so we'll give them more financial breaks, we'll give them more discounts, or quote unquote, or we'll give them more money, or maybe you do both. The only reason I'm bringing this up is in that system, there's not really necessarily an incentive to merchify things. What is the need to make merch off of a story whenever that money isn't going to be delivered to you if anything, that's going to be redirected toward the state? This is why innovation goes down under these systems, because why would you put in the extra effort and make a product when you receive no tangible benefit other than the creation of the product? And humans do like rewards for their things. Since we traded 1 meat chunk for 3 shiny rock, or whatever the fuck we did. Maybe it was 1 meat chunk for this guy had like a really cool spear, and we made the mental math of like, okay, I could eat this meat now, but my spear is broken. It's gonna be really hard for me to kill meat later. So I give him this meat chunk now, and he gives me that spear. I could kill more meat chunk later. Okay, I'll make that trade. I'm gonna make the short term not as great for me because I can't eat right now, so I'm gonna make the short term risk trade for the long term reward. That's probably when capitalism was really born, which is the first idea of trading for things.
Truly the greatest trader of us all.
Dude, that'd be an excellent trade. 1 meat chunk from 1 good spear. Holy shit, dude!
I heard you say the deal, and I was openly shocked.
Dude, Ooga Booga Steve is a retard for giving up his spear for that, but he was really hungry. And you know what? Maybe Ooga Booga Steve didn't tell Ooga Booga Greg that he just invented this dope ass shit called the sling, and he doesn't need a fucking spear anymore. I don't care. Whatever, retard. Dude, we don't know.
Harry Potter books, or collect all 28.
I would.
Merch, just like Harry has in his own bedroom somehow. You can even buy them.
Well, that's not the first book, is it, buddy? That would be the second and third book where he does get his own room. And that wouldn't be merch. That would be decorations. Because he went to that school. It's so weird for...
The concept of in-universe buying something and calling it merch.
It's so weird, man. Like, that shows how you view the world, not how everyone else does. Like, for example... Ron has a poster on his room, in his room, that's of his favorite Quidditch team. That isn't fucking merch. That's people have decorations of sports teams they like in their own rooms. Sometimes, if their school has a little system, Harry is proud to be a Gryffindor. He's a member of the sports team. My brother played football for the Carthage Bulldogs. You know what we had in our room? the Carthage football team kind of poster thing. His rings were set up. His jersey was hung up. He was proud to be a football player. And he was proud to be a part of that team. It wasn't merch for the Carthage Bulldogs. I mean, I guess it was merch. He didn't buy it, I guess. But, like, that wasn't in his head as merch. That was decoration. That was showing off who he was as a person. If he brought a girl in there, they saw he was a football player and he had pride in it, you know? That was his whole thought process. I don't know, man. This is weird.
Personalized acceptance letter to Hogwarts, a personalized robe.
I'm going to pause every now and then. But, hey, The Loach, why do you think people might be encouraged to buy their own acceptance letter? Because you don't have to buy your acceptance letter in the actual story.
To frame it as a fond memory.
Well, yeah, just to have it, and because every little kid reading the story has dreamed about getting their own letter. So yeah, as an adult, if it's like, what is it, like $40? Hold on, how much was it?
You can give yourself specific points, a personalized robe. Collect 28. Get some Hogwarts merch, just like Harry.
That's Hogwarts merch. That's his colors. It's Gryffindor, and that's his tie. It's his part of his uniform.
Has in his own bedroom somehow. You can even
15 euros for your own acceptance letter? Dude, that's gotta be like $10. Yeah, I'd pay $10 for my own acceptance letter if I, like, cared that much. Like, if Harry Potter is my favorite story of all time, or this could be crazy, but if you're throwing your little kid a Harry Potter themed birthday party, why not spend $10 or 15 euros on getting them their own Hogwarts acceptance letter? This is, God, yeah. Did you know that when anime gets popular, you can buy figurines and action figures of the anime?
What?
Like, tell me.
Since when?
Since, like, Sailor Moon, bro.
Flash. Up.
What? You cut out.
I should buy some Sailor Moon stuff now that you bring it up.
No, you shouldn't.
personalized acceptance letter to Hogwarts, a personalized robe.
75 euros for a fucking robe? Hold on, these are great deals.
Listen, you're saying euros. I don't believe in fake money.
Well, what I do is, and I have no actual math in this, but when I see 75 euros, I just assume that American dollars are better. So I'm like, I'm just like, okay, 75 euros, it probably costs like $60.
Who gave you 75 cents on the dollar?
Yeah. Dude, like, if someone was like, I'll give you €1 for $1, I was like, I'll give you 50 cents for that euro, dude. But
Look at him. You're not gonna trick.
no, it's like the conversion rate is 89 cents though. It's like, I don't believe you.
Listen, by virtue of you wanting an American dollar tells me you're desperate. 50 cents.
You know what? It's a quarter now.
It's a quarter now. Get fucked, third worlder.
Perfect simple design to make any cheese board a Harry Potter cheese board. So
Or a tattoo. You have to pay for that tattoo, but why might people get a tattoo of the Deathly Hallows? Well, it's a cool fucking design.
Contributes to the economy? Bad.
Well, you know, back in my cringier days when I was like, ooh, these are all the tattoos I want to get one day, I had and I'm really glad I didn't do this. Holy fuck. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Really glad. This is why I'm never going to let my kids get tattoos. Because looking back at this, when I was like 14, I was like, I want to get a tattoo of like everything that I'm into, like on my back or something. So do like the Deathly Hallows, then, or like the 4-star Dragon Ball, then do...
yourself.
Dude, I would have killed myself, dude. It would have been like the backside of a Yu-Gi-Oh card design. I would have put that there. Yeah, dude, hold on. The smash symbol. Then it was gonna be oh god, what else was it?
Blade off the face.
Dude, oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't do that.
I mean, my significant other.
Oh, Pokeball. I wanted a Pokeball too. And the Master Sword. No, the Triforce.
I mean, my significant other has a Deathly Hallows tattoo.
Yeah, what a fucking retard. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
No, but, yeah, people want to show off what they're interested in. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem weird to me. People use their decorations or tattoos or merch to show other people, to be conversation starters, to display what they're interested in. When you're, especially when you're talking about the books or those themes, maybe they needed another Harry Potter set because they lost theirs in a move or the books got ruined.
I'm really interested if all the shirts you wear don't have any corporate logos on.
Say what you want about her, Rowling was really, really good at brandable symbols. The Hogwarts crest, the house colours, the animals, the snitch.
J.K. Rowling, she had a design and prop team. She gave general designs to their stuff.
Yeah, I
stuff English crests. She didn't invent all of the current designs that were done by an art and PR team.
Yeah. Also, the platform 9 3/4. You just take what they looked like at King's Cross, and then you add a 3/4 symbol next to 9. We already know what their font looks like. This is like, yes, when people make unique designs in their world and describe them a certain way, and they become the cultural zeitgeist. People make product. You're really saying the snitch is a brandable market choice when it was in the book it was just described as a tiny golden ball with wings, and the movie made it look cool and interesting, and people like Quidditch.
Right. Like, well, I know J.K. Rowling is she's an author, really good at doing the subtext of consumerism, art designer, PR.
Here's the thing, you're gonna like me in like 5 years, because when my Harry Potter video comes out where I'm basically saying it's not, I wouldn't even call it a good story, and this is coming from someone who likes it, but I wouldn't even call it good. You'll like me then. You just hate me now because I'm disagreeing with you. But when I give you actual legitimate reasons to hate on Harry Potter, you'll like me. Don't worry.
And here's the thing, like, so this was posted a year ago. Was all the J.K. Rowling Twitter stuff going on a year ago?
Probably even longer than that. I'd say J.K. Rowling was like attempting to get canceled.
Non-HR compliance, back at it again.
Platform 9 3/4, even Harry himself can be easily reduced to a symbol. Other hit franchises of the era like Twilight struggled to come up with merch that wasn't just the actors' faces all be printed on random items, but Harry Potter is a gold...
I mean, maybe it's just because of the setting and it's based on a world that Bella's familiar. Like, there isn't any secret world of vampires and werewolves where you have to go to a school or anything, so you wouldn't need that. But I don't know. There were like plushies of Jacob in his dog form, and there's like different copies of the books, and Twilight did all right in terms of money and popularity. So,
I mean, also Twilight had the viral marketing thing when it was Team Edward versus Team Jacob.
Yeah, exactly. So
like, they didn't even need to really do like that, the whole like notable symbol, but it was notable characters that you were taking a team for.
Well, and this is kind of the difference between a product meant for children to grow up with the series and a product that's catered toward young adults progressing to adulthood. Didn't really sell with merch. It sold with sexuality, because the whole point of the book and the marketing scheme was girls want to read the next book to figure out which boy Bella's gonna fuck. It was selling. The marketing was based on a love triangle, sexual tension. Why do you think 50 Shades of Grey is one of the best-selling books of all time? There's not a whole lot of marketing in terms of buy this unique 50 Shades of Grey, glasses or whatever, because it's not that kind of story.
If we're going with the example you had earlier, which was Hunger Games, the Hunger Games is the Mockingjay. Like, literally a symbol that's really easy to be able to market.
The Mockingjay, the actual theme, there's a whole bunch of...
Your mic peaks so bad, but we know. You'll play the clip.
Yeah. I'll play the clip and cover up my whistling. But,
that was you whistling. It was you. I was surprised you were able to do it that well.
Oh, thank you. The Mockingjay symbol, The maps of the area, again, the subway. I don't know. This is dumb. People market their stories, and they do it in different ways. And yeah, some things lend themselves to different types of marketing. Like for the example, 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight, they kind of their marketability was through the sex, not through like actual sex was going on, but through sexuality. Sex sells, as they say.
This video, dude, I hate this raid boss.
You chose it and laughed when you chose it.
I didn't choose it. You chose it.
You didn't warn me.
Doesn't address the thing that I said.
No.
One commentator suggested Harry Potter was so perfect.
Hold on with that text there. Hold on.
What?
Shopping. The films ultimately resemble a series of home shopping advertisements.
Oh, never mind.
It's just sourcing.
Commentator suggested Harry Potter was so perfectly designed for a franchise of consumerism that it doesn't really matter whether Rowling had any kind of critique of consumerism to begin with. No one remembers that boring part of the book, but we all remember Diagon Alley, and Warner Brothers still need to remember.
Well, there probably isn't any criticism of consumerism because there probably isn't any endorsement of. There probably isn't any criticism of consumerism because there probably isn't any endorsement of consumerism because that was 0% a part of the story.
So it's the idea of because they didn't say the opposite, then the other must be true.
Or because there's a presence of that, and it's not a giant pillar of the story to call out how bad it is and how bad consumerism is. It's pro-consumerism. When I just don't think that was one of J.K. Rowling's goals in the story writing. She was focusing on different themes.
Disconnected enough that it could be excised completely when needed. All of this in a magical world where consumerism and wealth disparity don't actually make any sense. Like in this world, you can literally make copies of any object with a doubling charm.
Okay, so important thing to note here is that they're imperfect copies and they fade away over time. You should learn about the things before you talk about them. This is a booby trap. This is meant to basically suffocate anyone who's trying to steal it if they don't touch the right one, or even if they touch the right one, it continues to multiply. But these are imperfect copies. They wouldn't be considered legitimate because, again, it very importantly matters when you're talking about the Horcrux, because you have to get the right copy. But I'm also fairly certain that over time, or with a cancel magic charm, they would go away because they're not the actual real thing.
Yeah, I would also assume if somebody was trying to, like in a magical pawn shop, I would assume like a remove magic thing would be what you would do.
Yeah, or check magic on it, because maybe you don't want to remove magic if it's like I'm selling you an enchanted item.
Oh yeah, but I meant like if you're just pawning off like a gold chalice.
Yeah. And then if you're like, well, why don't they just pawn it off to a human muggle shop? Yes, I would like to exchange my muggle money that I got somewhere for wizard money now. Like, that exchange rate doesn't exist. Because they don't have, like, tourists.
Accio Euro.
I mean, you probably could do that, but it wouldn't matter because you're not... You could probably do Accio Galleon, or unless the galleons or the currency have, you know, anti-magic spells on them, so you can't steal it.
And Muggleborn, and knows the Reparo spell perfectly already. Like,
hold on. What? Let's go back.
it could be excised completely when neither doubling charm. Hermione is 11 and Muggleborn, and knows the Reparo spell perfectly already.
Hermione's a exception to the rule. Hermione did summer reading that basically no one else did and absorbed her book's knowledge perfectly to the point where she was practicing wand movements that no one else learned until they went to the first lesson of charms class with Professor Flitwick. Hermione is a prodigy. She's a good student. Yes, she can cast the Reparo spell. That is not common. And if the idea is why aren't adults casting this, I would wager to say Hermione is more talented as an 11-year-old than some of the worse off to average people and like adults. That's probably not true in terms of like actual.
Well, I mean, if you think about it in like a real life context, like students that are having to do math problems and like work on their English stuff are better written and are able to do like math functions more quickly than their adult counterparts just because they're
practicing more.
Yeah, they're within that realm more.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a fine statement to say. Maybe not like at this moment in time, but like whenever she's like engrossed in her studies at school, I could see that being the case.
Also, tell me what the money application in terms of the wizarding world to knowing the repair spell is.
Well, you could go to other wizards and offer to repair their stuff for them for money.
But they could just repair it themselves.
You could open a Muggle magic shop or a Muggle
Right.
repair shop and get money that way.
So we're back at square one. Where how are you exchanging this Muggle money for wizard money? Because again, that exchange rate wouldn't exist.
You could work at Gringotts and fix their shitty minecarts.
But they're wizards. They can cast better magic. This is what I'm saying. That's why this is dumb. Who can't cast? If this is first of all, repair is a basic spell that a first year could learn with practice. So who the fuck is hiring people to repair shit for them?
Like, why does Lupin walk around in busted clothing when an 11-year-old can fix them for him?
It's not. I mean, he's poor. He's wearing mismatched patch clothing. It's probably how he bought it. He probably bought it because it was offhand, and he doesn't really want to buy new shit because he often tears out of it. He is probably not because he's trying to repair it with like sewing. It's more like he went to a bargain bin and bought whatever clothes were the cheapest he could find because he doesn't really care about his clothes.
He's surrounded by 11-year-olds. This is a post-scarcity society. This should be a perfect world with no poverty, where no one has any reason to be wealthier than anyone else. Yet,
There it is.
There it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Weasleys versus the Malfoys here. Okay, Malfoys have one kid. Weasleys have like 9. The Weasleys have a different focus in life. They don't care about money. The Weasleys make good money. Arthur works in the government. Lucius has money because he was a wizard terrorist and stole shit and is probably dealing in black market shit. But they have less expenses than the Weasleys do. And the Weasleys don't care about money in that way. And they're not impoverished. They're not poverty stricken. They have food to feed everybody. They can go on trips with their family. They have hand-me-downs and stuff like that. And they might do packed lunches, but they don't have expendable income because they spend it on each other and their loved ones.
They're sending their fucking kids to Hogwarts.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know if you have to pay to go to Hogwarts. You probably just have to buy the school equipment.
I mean, what I'm saying is they're still going to like what is arguably the prestigious academy.
Yeah, you're going to the best wizarding school in the world.
Yeah,
and I mean, every one of them grow up to be successes. Percy grows up to go into the ministry as well. Bill goes out dragon riding or dragon hunting or like getting dragon eggs. Like let's hear him talk about the Weasleys.
the Weasleys are impoverished while the Malfoys are wealthy.
Wow, how did you call it? How did you know?
It's so easy. Because when your opinions are this basic and when you actually haven't thought through anything, it's really easy to predict what the surface level thoughts are going to be. Yeah, so I basically already countered your arguments. Let's continue.
Real world, the cause of major class inequality is exploitation of the working class by the rich. The few must exploit the many. But there isn't any kind of connection between the poor.
No, it's not, because your inherent reading of how wealth disparity happens is so, that's so illuminating. That actually shows how you view the world. You don't actually think it's possible for someone to make money without impoverishing or taking from someone else. Instead of them just creating a product that other people would be motivated and want to buy, and because more people want to buy their product and that person individually is spending money to buy other products, they are gaining net income over a set amount of time. They're not taking from anyone. When Rowling wrote the books and released them and they were published and sold, she didn't take money from anyone. People decided to spend money on the books. It's not exploitative. J.K. Rowling isn't taking from the few. In fact, she only gave people jobs. The publishers had to get more editors. Marketing teams were hired. Movie script writers were hired. Actors, their whole... If it wasn't for J.K. Rowling, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint would not have careers.
I mean, also every single member at their section of the Harry Potter land wouldn't have jobs.
Yeah, the people who work at the printing machines or the binding machines to put the books together, all the people that make the merch. You are thinking of it as
the YouTubers.
Yeah, all the people making money off of being Harry Potter YouTube channels. Like, you're viewing it as exploitative when you can easily read it as the reverse way. By J.K. Rowling writing a story that people loved, not only did she make herself money, she made a shit ton of people money. So, yeah, just again.
Also, just it's an extremely low level understanding whenever it comes to this is the type of person who goes in one economics class and sees that billionaire is able to create thing, and then they're pay themselves a high wage, which I'll agree. There are a lot of billionaires who make way too much money in comparison to the people that they hire. You gotta understand, though, the amount of wealth generation from them that would not be available in the economy without the creation of that would end up being a loss for the economy in and of itself.
Well,
like, you can make the moral argument on fair compensation of them versus their employees, which is a whole different conversation, and I'm fairly certain we could get to a more level understanding with that. But by a blanket statement just saying that through them making money requires the exploitative nature of it, it's just not even grasping how fucking economics works.
Well, like, tell me who Mr. Beast exploited to become rich when he literally became popular off of doing challenge videos and then giving away shit.
I mean, you'll find a whole section of Twitter talking about how bad he is for curing the blind.
Oh yeah, he's exploiting the blind for views. I don't know, man. They can see. I think, hey, he's exploiting them for views so that they can view. One of my favorite tweets was talking about the real reason Mr. Beast is curing blindness is so he can add a bunch of people to his subscriber list. Hey, the first thing you have to do with your eyes is watch my videos.
I mean, dude, that would have been really funny. Cures a person of blindness, gets their reaction to a Mr. Beast video.
Hey, the first thing you watch before you see your parents' faces, watch this Minecraft video.
That'd be really funny.
It'd be so funny, dude. We should do a Mr. Beast skit like that. All right, we just cured your deafness. Now, hey, before you hear your parents' voices for the first time, me and my boys, we just made an official music video, and you're gonna be the first one to see it. Are you ready? And they're just like,
that would be awesome.
Can I please talk to my parents right after this video and an ad break? Now, I need you to read off this card. Thanks to today's sponsor.
Everyone should take a delicious sip of Gamer Sups, sponsored by Amaranth, the #1 landowner in America.
The #1 landowner in the world.
Oh, right, I keep
Dude, the despair. The despair in your voice in that, oh. Alright, let's continue.
Keep forgetting to add that part.
And the rich in Harry Potter, some people just are rich, some people just are poor.
It's not magic. It's not fucking magic.
Okay, the reason...
In Harry Potter, it's not fucking magic.
Okay, so, again, the Weasleys are perhaps poor because they have 9 children versus the Malfoys 1. Now, why were Harry's parents rich? This is actually a good question. We don't know what job Harry's dad had. I think it could have been assumed he might have been an... It could have been assumed he might have been an Auror. I think they both might have been Aurors, but I don't think they actually worked for the Ministry. I think, and this is just my own theory, I think they were freedom fighters because Voldemort was at that period, and they were taking donations, and then they just ended up with that money, and they died. Or this could be entirely separate. Is that perhaps when they died, Dumbledore made sure that money was set aside for Harry because he's the fucking chosen one. So we're gonna fund him.
I mean,
that is something that's been left unanswered, and yeah, I'll agree that the method with which people are gaining money and getting a whole lot of money is not really commented on. maybe that's because that wasn't
Because
the
J.K.
focus of the
Rowling
story.
isn't because J.K. Rowling isn't a fucking economist.
Well, yeah, so she probably isn't
She
talking
didn't
about
know how she made the stupid statement on how the fucking toilets work.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, come on.
Dude, this is the same person who said that before toilets were invented, people at Hogwarts used to just shit themselves and whisk away the evidence, even though the founder of Hogwarts left a secret chamber in the toilets. So when were people shitting themselves at Hogwarts?
No,
Why?
No, you cannot go into that chamber. You can't go in there.
No.
You must defecate on yourself.
It's so...
Just whisk it away.
It'd be really funny if they're trying to kick Slytherin out. He's like, okay, I'll leave, but hey, have you guys ever heard of the toilet? And they're like, what? No. Oh, here. So, and like he just shows them that infrastructure, and he goes like, as my last parting gift, I'm gonna build toilets everywhere. Because like again, his Chamber of Secrets disguise.
We fucking hate that guy, so we're not gonna use those for like 300 years.
Well, no, like the only reason the Chamber of Secrets disguise worked is because he installed it as an opening to one of the bathrooms that already existed. It's not like he like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be an effective disguised entrance if toilets didn't exist yet and he just made the first toilet.
Hey, what is that room you have over there? It's where people shit. It's where they shit. You don't want to go in there.
Oh well, I have to shit yourself.
Well, you can't go in there right now.
But where? That's where people shit.
They're cleaning it. So just shit yourself and make it go away.
Well, if you can, but I can whisk away with magic. How are they taking that long to clean it? Here, I'll go in there and I'll clean it with magic.
No. Pull his wand out.
It's a lot of shit, dude. Oh, dude, then you need all the help you can get.
And he pulls a wand out and he just goes, "Hey,
get out of here."
Crucio balls.
Go on, get.
Right. No, I was saying he uses Crucio on your ball.
Oh, dude, that'd be crazy. Just the big Les. Fucking.
Of the wizarding world is completely at odds with like the wizarding part of it. But maybe we shouldn't be so hard on poor old JK. After all, wasn't she just a single mother, living in poverty herself?
Oh.
Forced to write her first novel on napkins in a cafe, starving, without a friend in the world to help, dismissed by every publisher until one finally chose her. Didn't Harry Potter then rise to fame through word of mouth alone and the quality of the work itself? Well, that's the legend, right? But actually, it was a little less romantic and a lot weirder than that. When Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone dropped in the UK in 1987, it was considered, for the most part, to be a perfectly lovely addition to the world of children's literature. But 3 days after its UK publication, a bidding war went down in the US, and the rights were won by Scholastic for $105,000. An incredibly, basically unprecedented amount of money for something in children's book. I don't know what drove up the price of that bidding war so much, but Hollywood studios were already approaching rolling at this time. I have a suspicion that Scholastic knew exactly what film studios would see in these books.
Okay. And this is going to be the end of this video because we're already 10 minutes in. But what a disingenuous fuck. You talk about the whole origin story of how she wrote the first book, and you're like, well, that's the legend, but it's not as romantic. Skips to the point where the book's already been published. So skips over that story. Doesn't try to reframe that story or discount how that actually... I'm by myself now. We're going to rewind back to where you saw it, or back to where we were. Yeah, let's... So... Last episode, I talked about the origin story of how she wrote the first book. I want you to see how disingenuous this is.
Okay. It dropped out right before this.
Yeah, this is pretty fucking shocking how they try to do this.
The working class by the rich. The few must exploit the many. But there isn't any kind of connection between the poor and the rich in Harry Potter. Some people just are rich, some people just
Yeah, we already talked about this.
The humorous aspect of the wizarding world is completely at odds with, like, the wizarding part of it. But maybe we shouldn't be so hard on poor old JK. After all, wasn't she just a single mother,
I don't like the tone of her voice right now.
No, yeah, hold on, watch.
Forced to write her first novel on napkins in a cafe, starving, without a friend in the world to help, dismissed by every publisher until one finally chose her. Didn't Harry Potter then rise to fame?
Okay. Notice this trick. This is so disingenuous. So that first half, talking about that origin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, notice how there's a little bit of a break and said, isn't it true how Harry Potter rose to fame out of word of mouth alone? Notice there's a break there. They have combined those two bits together, and then they're going to say, oh, dude, just watch this. Just notice that break.
The work itself. Well, that's the legend, right? But actually, it was a little less romantic and a lot weirder than that.
Okay. Let me tell you this right now. What they're about to say only attempts to discount the second part, but they wrapped it together with that first part. That first part is absolutely true. She was a single mother writing on napkins during her breaks in cafes and got dismissed by like 10 publishers until one published it.
So you're saying she's about to only tackle that
second part. But
tying it together to make it seem like she's disproving both.
Yeah, and it says that's a legend, and it's not as romantic as that. So, trying to discount a woman's struggle through poverty into success by lumping it with, ooh, now watch how they're trying to discount how it spread through word of mouth alone.
Dropped in the UK in 1997, it was just the legend, right? But actually, it was a little less romantic and a lot weirder than that. When Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone dropped in the UK in 1997, it was considered, for the most part, to be a perfectly lovely addition to the world of children's literature. But 3 days after its UK publication, a bidding war went down in the US, and the rights were won by Scholastic for $105,000.
Okay, so we've skipped over the struggle to get it to published to the point where it's already been published, and 3 days later. Now, here's what's really frustrating. J.K. Rowling has already announced to the publisher, which is one of the reasons why she gets... Here's what a lot of people don't know. She had already finished the first book and was beginning to write on the second one when she got approved by that publisher. So she could show them, I'm working on a series. This is going to be 7 years, 7 books. If that first one is successful, we're going to, that's what Scholastic saw in it. This is a opportunity for sequels and for continued fans, and yeah, I'm sure they saw the merch potential, because there's merch potential in everything, but just so disingenuous to frame it like this.
Incredibly, basically unprecedented amount of money for something like a children's book. I don't know what drove up the...
You know what? I'm so curious. I'm not going to do this live, but I'm going to look up in the edit for this, and I'm going to see if that's basically unprecedented for Scholastic to spend $105,000 for the rights to publish a children's book. I wonder.
I'm actually really curious on like what the average price is.
And I'll be fair, and I'll do books before 1997 because boy, we don't want to talk about how much money was probably spent for Percy Jackson, huh? Yeah, we don't want to talk about how much money was probably spent for Twilight, huh? No, I'll be fair. We'll see how much money was spent for Beverly Cleary.
I don't even know what that is.
It's probably one of the most famous, successful, or like we'll do like Arthur, you know,
Hank the Cow Dog.
Hank the Cow Dog. I mean, maybe they weren't bought. Maybe the publishing rights weren't bought for a whole lot initially, but I guarantee you over time their money output. But yeah, this is just so disingenuous, and I think that's a perfect place to end. Just in the first 10 minutes, you've demonstrated not only just a misunderstanding of the subject material you're covering, not only Harry Potter, but consumerism and economics in general, but you're discounting an actual woman's experience going through struggles and trying to get their own work published, and you provide nothing but false, empty, or bad faith criticism of someone else's work. I award you no points.
You have been awarded 0. I will award you 1 point for all the merch.
If you stole it.
Only if you stole it. Yeah. Now I'll give you 1 point if you bought it. I'll give you 5 points if you stole the merch.
5 Loach points? You're gonna crash the fucking economy.
5. Well, I mean, I own all the Loach points right now, so I did exploit all the viewers to be able to hoard them, so I should give them away.
That's true. You got to redistribute them.
She has convinced me I should start redistributing the Loach points.
It's a perfect post-scarcity world where no one should be wealthier than the other.
Okay, so right now, are we deciding? Should we finish this video?
We're 10 minutes in. We only have 3 more chunks, but this is going to be the end of this part. But we will finish this video out. It'll probably take 2 or 3 more surprise inspections. I thought we'd get it done the first one, but for us to do actual well-reasoned arguments, it takes a whole lot less time to spew bullshit than to clean it up. Okay, so.
And there's a big fucking mess.
So it might. Oh, your mic's kind of fucking up, but it might take.
This is a big fucking mess.
There you go. So it might take us some more surprise inspections, but I like keeping it to at least an hour and a half at most on the format. So that's what makes these surprise inspections. They're just hour little chunks. They're not 2 hour to. Eventually, we've already talked about this. When the content audits become streamed, they're being done all in one sitting. So it's going to turn from 10-hour chunks of content audits to hour-long chunks for surprise inspections. So Trevor, or the Loach, I know right now you're feeling restrained by the short that we're only stopping at an hour. But one day you will thank me for what the break of only an hour long of recording is. When we start doing 10-hour streams...
Hey, I got the endurance, dude. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up here. Go ahead and clock out for the day.
All right, guys. We asked last time for some subscriptions. The only thing we'll ask this time is, I just want to thank you for viewing the video. That's we're just gonna say a thank you right now.
Yeah. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, because you did watch all the way to the end, right? Right?
Yeah, hopefully.
How are you hearing this? Did you skip here? Did you skip to here? Go back. Go back and rewind.
Yeah, go back to. At least go back and put the video on mute.
Please, please. I made some really good arguments. All right, yeah. Bye, later.